Death is not the end. It's the beginning of something worse. Most people believe dying means rest, silence, peace. But what if death doesn't erase awareness? What if the moment life ends is the moment something far more disturbing begins? Part 1. The comfort lie we tell ourselves about death. From a very young age, we are taught to soften death. We hear phrases like, "They're at peace now. At least the pain is over. Death is just like sleep." These words are not facts. They are emotional protection mechanisms. Humans struggle with uncertainty more than suffering, and death represents the ultimate unknown. So we turn it into something gentle, something quiet, something harmless. But comfort does not equal truth. The reality is, death is not a peaceful switch-off. It is a transition, and transitions are rarely smooth. Part 2. Death is a process, not a moment. Medically, death is defined very simply. The heart stops breathing, stops. The body becomes unresponsive. But biologically and psychologically, death is not instant. It happens in stages. Different systems shut down at different speeds. Some collapse immediately, others linger. This is uncomfortable to accept because it means death is not clean or simple. It is gradual, and during that gradual shutdown, something remains longer than we expect. Part 3. What science quietly admits. Modern science avoids emotional language, but even it cannot ignore certain facts. Studies have shown that brain activity does not always stop immediately after death. Electrical signals can persist briefly, sometimes longer. This doesn't mean clear thinking, but it does mean awareness may not disappear instantly. And awareness without a functioning body is not peaceful. It is disorienting. The body no longer responds, but the sense of being has not fully faded. That gap is where fear begins. Part 4. Awareness without control. Imagine being conscious but unable to act. No breathing, no movement, no voice. Your body has stopped responding, but you haven't fully vanished. This is not physical pain. This is something deeper. It is the terror of loss of control. The human mind depends on feedback. Breath movement sensation. When all feedback disappears, panic replaces calm. And panic with no escape becomes psychological horror. Part 5. The moment of realization. At some point, a realization slowly forms. This is not sleep. This is not temporary. Life has ended. The realization does not arrive gently. It creeps in, then locks into place. And with it comes a second realization. There is no return, no undo, no delay, no later. That understanding is what transforms confusion into fear. Part 6. Why fear begins after death. Fear does not come from pain. Fear comes from finality. In life, mistakes feel reversible. Time feels negotiable. Change feels possible. After death, that illusion disappears. Choices are frozen. Time is gone. Consequences remain, and the human mind reacts violently to permanence. This is why death does not begin with peace. It begins with awareness facing something it can no longer change. Part 7. The most terrifying part. Clarity. The most disturbing part of death is not pain. It is clarity. When life ends, distractions disappear. No noise, no conversations, no screens, no excuses. What remains is awareness, fully exposed. Suddenly everything becomes clear. The moments you ignored the warnings, you delayed the truths, you avoided the time you wasted in life. We drown clarity with distraction. After death, there is nothing to hide behind. Clarity without the ability to act is unbearable. And this is where fear deepens. Part 8. Time no longer feels normal. Time is experienced through the body. Heartbeats, breathing, movement. When the body stops, time loses structure. Seconds feel longer. Moments stretch unnaturally. There is no rhythm to mark passing time, no physical signal to create comfort. Awareness exists in stillness, and stillness magnifies everything. Thoughts, memories, regret. This is why death is often described as endless, not because it truly is, but because time no longer behaves the way the mind expects. Part 9. Why people avoid thinking about death. People don't avoid death because they are weak. They avoid it because death forces responsibility. Thinking deeply about death raises uncomfortable questions. What am I doing with my time? What am I avoiding? What if there is no escape? So society replaces truth with comfort. Movies show peaceful light. Culture promises instant rest. Language removes fear, because fear changes behavior. And most people are not ready to change. Part 10. Death does not change you. One of the most dangerous beliefs is this: death will fix everything. It won't. Death does not transform who you are. It reveals who you are. Your awareness does not reset. Your honesty does not increase automatically. What disappears are distractions, not identity. And when distractions vanish, reality becomes impossible to avoid. Death is not an escape from self. It is a confrontation with it. Part 11. Peace is not the first experience. Peace is often promised, but rarely immediate. The first experiences after death are confusion, realization, clarity, fear. Peace, if it comes at all, arrives later. This is uncomfortable to accept, but honesty demands it. Because if death were instantly peaceful, there would be nothing to fear. Yet fear surrounds death across every culture, every era, every belief system. Fear exists for a reason. Part 12. Why this should change how you live. This message is not meant to paralyze you. It is meant to wake you up. Death does not make life meaningless. It makes life urgent. If awareness continues, then what you do with awareness now matters. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. Death is not the end. It is the moment when truth can no longer be avoided. One day, everyone reaches this moment. The silence, the realization, the clarity. No distractions, no delays, no second chances. Only awareness facing truth. The question is not whether death will come. The question is whether you will be ready for what comes after life stops. If this video unsettled you, that means it reached where it was supposed to. Like this video so others confront what they avoid. Subscribe if you want truth, not comfort. Share this with someone who believes death is simple. Because it isn't.